And then is it recording my video and
share
screen?
screen.
Or just
Share screens if you want to share your screen. You know.
Okay, yeah. All right. So it's sharing it now, right?
You have to.
Oh, there we go.
Now it's sharing.
Shit.
So yeah, that's good.
All right.
Oh, after you're done, it's gonna like, what is it? Render the video
Okay.
that you're recording.
And then I send it to you, or
yeah, leave it on for a little bit so
all
it
right.
can render everything, and then send it to either me or Shelly.
Okay.
Or maybe yeah, send it to me or Shelly.
All right.
Well, it's not their website, but it's something on their server. So it's more like a human. I don't do it on purpose. Sometimes I don't want to days. It's not that. It's like, no, it's not that. There's Santa Monica Studio that we usually bought for I don't know you and your green meals. Everything that's not like everything that what is that? There was like a version right. Oh, nice. Yeah, I know, but like it's like actual. Can you hear us, Tyler? Oh no, I think it's just called Python.
It's still be on. Yeah, it is on. It's recording something else. All right, is everyone ready? Okay, so you guys have Burp downloaded, right? And Firefox ready? Okay, so first, Burp has a lot of things, so we'll need to start with setting it up. So once you open Burp, you should be seeing a screen similar to this one. Are you guys on this spot or?
Yeah.
All right. So after you click Start Burp, it will not start monitoring your request. So we'll need to start setting it up. So if you guys have Firefox, open that and then go to Preferences. And once you go there, wait. That's weird. Yeah, if you go on, there should be a menu option like that on all the way on the top right corner. And then if you go down there, it depends on the Firefox version you have. Which one do you have right now? Yeah, so just click on. Yeah, because they change a lot of things. Yeah, but you guys have to go on and then set up Start Burp, then it should get it ready. Just a second here, my internet is not working. I'm trying to figure this out. Oh yeah. Okay, that's no, that is. Okay, so you guys are on this section. If anyone is lost, please ask so that I can help you guys. Like, where are you? Is everyone on the preferences area or in the options if you're on Windows? So if you have the latest version of Firefox, which they launched, I think 2 days ago, if you scroll all the way down, there's an option for network proxy, and we'll be using that so that we can make sure Burp can listen from the different localhost network. So click settings, and for starting, you still have something that says no proxy at all. So after that, click on manual because we will have to set it up ourselves. And then there's a HTTP proxy section you guys will see. So for mine, I have it set up for 127.0.0.1 with listening on port 8080. And it is because Burp does it default. Burp has that listening, so you can change it if you want. But so that I can make sure that you guys understand, because I don't want you guys memorizing, like understanding this. So I want you guys to understand. Why am I just, why is there HTTP proxy or multiple others? So like, for example, I have it set up for HTTP proxy. Why am I doing that? What will the proxy for that IP do? So if I have it set up for HTTP, what does that mean?
Passes your web traffic to that on that IP.
Yes. And that's why I have SSL and FTP and SOCKS. So there are multiple other ways. Like SSL is if you are going on a secure site, for example, Google or Facebook or even Fortin.edu. So select use this proxy server for all protocols because you'll want to monitor every single one of them. So once you have that, just set that up properly like this. And your socket will be for version 5. You can do version 4. I usually go with version 5 because that's the easiest one for me. Yeah.
Should we manually enter in proxy?
For the HTTP one, yeah. And then after that, if you select use this proxy for all, it will automatically do it. So did you do that? Are you on the, all right. No problem. And then there should be, if you scroll down a little bit, it says no proxy for, and then it will have already listed like localhost and certain IP for localhost, 127.0.01 things. Remove that because if you have a website running on your localhost, this will not intercept at all because you already created an exception for that. So this is, for example, if I don't want to listen to anything, for example, if I don't want to listen to Mozilla.org, like if I don't want Burp intercepting that, I'll put it there so that it will never get intercepted. So if you are testing a website on localhost, you'll not want it to be there. So remove those things there. And after you are done, just click OK. Just go back there so in case if anyone is. So did everyone set up the proxy part of that? Does anyone need any help? Yeah.
Just a question.
Yeah.
So we're using this, like if we want to start practicing our own house.
Mhm.
How would we obtain these sort of HTTP proxy? How would we obtain that sort of address?
So the 127 is just your local host. So at this case, like you are listening to your own computer thing. So for example, if you're doing your cell phone, if you want to monitor your cell phone request, you'll have to be on the same network if you're going with the network IP. So for example, if I'm using for my phone, I'll just have it ready for on my phone, and then in your terminal, you'll listen to you'll try to find out what your local IP is. So usually it depends. Like I think for Cal State here, we have it on 10. So for mine, mine is right now 10.6765.129. So I'll put that on my cellular in my phone so that like when I go to Wi-Fi and select proxy, or even on this case, instead of 127, I can put like 10 point whatever the local IP for my computer is. So if you're on your phone, you'll do that. On computers, like unless you are listening on a different computer. So for example, if my Mac is just for visiting, and if I have a desktop or something else for listening, then I'll use that computer's IP. So usually it is IF config, and if your computer, if your network is 10 point or 192, you'll put that on. 8080, you can modify it anyway, because like the reason I put 8080 on that one is if you start Burp and if you go on the proxy options, that will be checking as soon as it starts. if you go on the options, it's listening. The one of the listener already set up is for that IP network. So for example, if you're monitoring for your different phones as we're going on, you'll need to add it so that like you'll say all interfaces, and then you'll click all interfaces and then modify your thing. So it will ask me for it, and as soon as I allow it, I can listen on just 80, 81 through any IP, so it doesn't have to be the 1 to 7 anymore. So you can create your own after that. Let's get back. So did everyone set that up on the Firefox part? On the 1 to 7? Okay. So if you already set that up, let me change that right here. Okay. So you still have open Burp, and what you should be seeing is this area if you are already on that. Is everyone on this, or are you guys starting Burp right now? Yeah. On this one, yeah. So when you open Burp, it will start with, it will load the main screen. It will say Burp Suite Community Edition. I'm running my professional edition, is for different. So you click next. You can create your own project. If you are doing it for this, I'm doing a temporary so that it will delete it next time I open it. So like if I close Burp, it will delete all the files that it's storing. But if I put it for a new project on this, I can save that so that next time I can just open it and then restart my attacks or restart my Intercept. So once I click next, there is an option for start Burp, or you can have your own configs. Once you start, it will load this part and then directly load you to the target section of Burp. So is everyone on that part now? All right. So now, for now, we're going to start with just, I'm going to take you step by step. So let's say you're going to example.com. It should try loading it, and then it will show up on your, let's see. I think I have my preferences start here. So if you, like for example, if let me restart my Firefox. So if you go to example.com or try loading it, it should show up some of the websites here. Is anyone having issues that it's not showing up? Yeah. All right. So let's try going with, I don't know why example is not working. Try putting, let's see. Yeah, you need to have your Intercept on so that it can monitor it. Like, wait, so when you say it's not showing up, is the website not showing up, or is nothing showing up here? Or is this not showing up?
That's not showing up, and then never mind. My Intercept, it shows up, it's just, it's not doing anything.
So right now it's blank, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens if you go to, like, let's say google.company or any domain? So let's show up, it should show this up, right? Is it showing anything like that? Yeah, we're going to work on that too after this. So right now, it should say something like, because google.company doesn't exist. So let's give it a shot by, like, when you go to facebook.com, what does it show for you guys? Does it show like a certificate error or not? For me, it won't show because I already have it set up. So like if you go to facebook.com right now, what error do you guys get any errors or not?
Yes, your connection's not secure.
Okay, so that is because we have it monitored for SSL, but Burp is not able to like act as a trusted system because it's thinking that you are getting man-in-the-middle attack. So for that, go to http://burp. This is where we'll be installing our local certificate. So once you are there, click on the CA certificate section, and it will allow you to download a certificate file. So just click save file, and usually after you save it, if you open it, it should open, like for Mac, it opens your keychain. But if you're on Windows or something, it will open like the certificate install section. So did you click on CA certificate?
Oh.
Yeah.
So once you click on the C certificate, we save file there.
Yes, click save file, and then once you open that, click on it. So open this, and then you'll click install certificate. So for Windows, that's what you'll do. Like you'll open it, and it will give you an option to install. So you'll select install certificate, and you'll do it for local machine, and then click next, and this will ask you for a permission, and click on place all certificates in the following store. So like usually when it does automatic, it will be in different locations. Because if you're installing this certificate, you want it to be a root certificate. That way, it can the computer can trust it. Because if you put it on something else, it will never be trusted. So once you click that, click browse. Yeah. I'll just click on that or like reopen it. Yeah. Just click OK, and then reinstall that. Go on your downloaded folder and open one of those, and then click install and local machine. Yeah. So yeah.
So this is where we have to be at once.
Yeah, once you have it downloaded, so you are there. You haven't set up your Firefox, I believe, then, right?
Yeah, actually, my third is not working.
Oh.
Yeah. The thing is,
Yeah.
the options, I would say if I go to the website, it says I'm not allowed or something like that.
Yeah, we're fixing that right now. So because Burp is not set up to alert that, yeah. For this one, you are on Mac, right? So click on system. Then click add. So it's the last one. So is everyone on like the installer support right now? So if you have Windows, because I don't have Windows, so I don't use it. If you click on select certificate store, like if you browse your own, there's one of the store is trusted root certificates and authorities. Select that and install it on that portion. So after you select, click OK, and then click next, and click finish. Okay. All right, click OK. And try going to Facebook now. Yeah, it's because it's so I think we have to do it right. So go on your phone. So yeah, so you are on Windows, right? So can you help others set it up? Thank you. Yes. So no, for this one we're going to install so on that website. Yeah. I think that's the best. Yeah. This computer software.
I don't think it was
Just let us see price. Why do people like like let us know the prices. Yeah, that's not the problem. But like I'm talking about having price. But like, would you enjoy eating like this last? Like right now, there's it doesn't make sense. Like, you eat like taco salads. So if you're using a computer from the school, like one of the desktops,
it won't allow you to install the certificate part because you need to have a privilege, one of the admin privileges.
Yeah, the Shelly, you know everyone can log into this, or is it just you doing that? Or you just say
I think everyone can log in.
No, but so
Based off like the schools.
I already downloaded AD, right?
but we'll have to install it. So we'll install it.
Yeah, I have
So he got to say, okay, so now, and then after that,
yeah, just to check before you remember the password?
You did, it's already downloaded.
I don't know. I asked Callie on one of my things.
So they have set up everything on the in there. No, it's not much.
Now I see the reason why you want to know it wrong is because of
So yeah, final so it still has
it just takes forever.
really?
Oh.
Wait, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said something. Alright.
So basically, the reason it was taking forever is because you're intercepting your requests. System data is running with a burp. So right now it's just like everything goes here on this forward.
I heard about it.
So you click on this.
It's like, I don't know how people know about it.
It's that one.
I don't know.
So we just
Like sell it all. You are basically giving your own service.
I understand why.
Are you? Do you get it?
You're Middle East, right?
It's kind of like,
Or you can close it because we are in Firefox. It's like really easy. Like go back on the sections.
I know people, I know friends like this. Trying to get this good teaching. Next to that, John. Yeah.
I'm not ready.
So and then usually
a lot of that stuff is kind of shit up.
So did it work for the school computers or? I was just saying.
They're getting it in the VM now. Okay. Actually, they have admin.
So that's what my kind of stuff.
They can't sell.
I mean, it's I've been there too, scared. I know it's because I don't think that's good. Without this,
Did you download the SSH or Java file? Java sometimes like it has the option to basically have to have like a single
yes, I'm getting
yeah, trying to.
and we also you don't know who is a spotty. Oh God, I don't want to get killed. like I say something crap.
Yeah.
I'll try it. So if you already have Burp ready, like if you go on the HTTP proxy, what do you guys see? Do you guys see like a lot of websites or like some websites listed on it? If you have Burp open, like you'll still be on this screen. And then if you click on HTTP history. So, okay, so we'll focus on this part and then I'll move into other tabs of Burp. So right now what we're doing is, for example, like if you guys are testing a website and it has a lot of requests going through, and then like if you finish testing but you want to go back and see all the histories that you made, like all the websites that you went through, you can just go on HTTP history and it will list like every single request that was made. So for right now, for me, like this is for search.yahoo.com. You will be able to see that like it made requests with try to look for some file and then the response also. So you should be able, like, if you went to facebook.com or something, it will show one of them on the history right now. And if you click any of those, it will show up. So that's part, like, if you want to go back, see all the websites you visited, and then if you want to test them again for different things, you'll use this. After you do that, if you right click on one of the, like, if you go on the response or request, and if you right click on there, it will show one of these things. And if you click on repeater, we're going to talk about like what you can do with the repeater pretty soon. But for now, so you have covered like HTTP part. And WebSocket is something similar. Like if you are testing another website that has some kind of a socket request being made, it will not be a HTTP that you can send, but you can still see it all in the history part. So I can show an example with, let's say, I'm not sure if it's gonna have WebSocket. It doesn't have right now. Okay. So usually if you're like chatting with someone, if you're on a live chat on sites like so for example, what a WebSocket would look like is this. So you guys can see like it's sending a WebSocket message to one of the domain, but I cannot send it to anywhere else. Like I can download it and other things, but it will not show up. But if I go to WebSocket's history, it will show me every single one of those requests it has made. So I can look into it and see like what kind of request, it has made, and like you can see what things you can do with it. You can modify and then send it again. So that's another part of WebSocket. And options, you guys, this is where you will add more listeners. So for example, let's say I want to have one more listener service running on port 8090 or something. I'll just create a new, I'll put a specific address and like set it up like this. So like if I put 1990, it will create a new one. So this way I can have something else sending a request to that and then intercept that. And you can run or turn it off. Look, so if I uncheck all of them right now, that means Burp will not be listening to anything. So if I go to Firefox and try loading to something, it will crash and it will say the proxy server is refusing because both of the listeners are turned off. But as soon as I turn 8080 back on, it will start loading the website right away. So this is the main interface, like, and the intercept part is where basically I will say 70% of the thing will run because you'll be monitoring requests and then sending it through like repeater or intruder, whatever we want to go to. So right now we're going to actually test out with Fullerton.edu. So we'll be legally hacking Fullerton.edu. Let's just go with that. So if you go to Fullerton.edu, make sure your intercept is off so it should be like that. Because otherwise, if I just have it intercept on, this will just keep trying to load and it will never load, like, because everything is just going through here. So unless you keep forwarding the request, that's what happens. On the HTTP, yeah, if you want to clear it, you can clear. Otherwise, you can just have it open. Or I haven't cleared mine, so you can clear it if you want, or you can just go back here. So it shouldn't matter that much, because we'll not be visiting that right now. So does everyone have a Fullerton.edu website loaded?
Yep.
Yeah.
You said that in that HTTP shows every request that we made.
Yeah.
But it doesn't show that.
Or what do you mean?
Like, I think it's like,
It's going to be somewhere down there. Right? So it goes down. Yeah. So, or you can show me what I see. Yeah. And then, like, for example, if your intercept was off, and then you realize it, so you go back and you can see the request. So click on one, so you can modify it and send it again. So you can see what kind of behavior you notice. So is everyone on the website of Fullerton right now? All right, so like he reminded me to see, if you go on history right now and click on host, if you go down there, you should be able to see Fullerton.edu listed. Even though like you didn't intercept the request, it still shows up. So you can modify it and then retry different kind of requests. So that is, for example, like you are testing a website and then you realize your burp was off the whole time. You can go back to your history and then just resend the request right away so that you don't have to worry about, oh, I missed this endpoint or I missed other endpoints. Yeah.
How do we resend it?
Oh, I'll cover that part afterwards. So we're going to go step by step on the resend part also. So with Fullerton.edu, if you guys like, I'll test out by logging into my username and system. So when I load up, this will be my website right here. So for example, if I want to see what request it is making, I'll click on Intercept is on, and then I will send the request right here. So if you click forward, this will be one of the requests that Fullerton.edu is making. So you can see that it's sending like some kind of a token that could be login tokens or different things. So you can modify them and play with it. I'll talk about modification later on. So here you can see there are different kind of requests as a website you can make. So there's like a post request if you're sending through a form or if you're logging in, or if it's kind of sending a new request, then it will go through post or get. And there are multiples. So if you're intercepting, if you click forward, it will process the request in the main browser. So for example, if I keep clicking forward, it will start loading everything on here. So right now, like for example, this is some kind of advertisement or it's trying to load one of the sports site. And if you keep going, so this is my favorite and my other stuff, like my links that I can search on the Titan app. And if we move on, so this one, if I click, so this course is basically loading all of my courses, because if you go on Firefox, like while you were intercepting, you can see that while it has loaded everything else, it hasn't loaded my courses yet. So if I'll cover this part, but like if I click OK, it will show all the classes that I'm taking, and it will also show my ID and everything here. So that's one part of it when you are testing different things. And then there's like notifications. So if you had some kind of notifications from the university, you'll just send that and then process that. So these are all of the requests. So for example, this is for our school calendar. If I view it, or like I can copy the link. So this will show up like one of the calendar parts that I can like subscribe to, and then I can see any kind of new activities. So usually when you see this, you won't directly see those things because it's sending those requests in the back end. So it's trying to load something from something else. It won't directly show it because you are on a front end. But with Burp, you can see every request that it is making, and then you can modify it as you go on. So that's one part of it. Now, if you want to like send the request, so for example, you are proxying something, I'll load this again to show it. So if I want to see what this does, and I want to see like what the response will be, if you click on action and then click on send to repeater. So if you guys like try to reload the website and click on action and go to send to repeater part, and it should show up on this part. So there's like numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that way, like for example, if I want to modify or if I want to play with this, so initially I'll send this and it just says okay, 200 okay. So the response went through perfectly, but there was like nothing that was showing up because this is not showing anything. So I can start modifying, like I can put my own things and then send it to it. So right now it showed me an error because the request I was sending, if I go down. So right now it showed me an error, please contact your system admin, because I modified one of my requests. So this is like if you're targeting some application, if you're changing your profile and you want to see if it modifies, like how it modifies or what request it sends, you'll use this so that you'll send the intercept to repeater and then start playing around with it. So like you can change anything you want. You can play with the cookies to see like how the authentication cookie is created. So you can modify it as you go along. So did everyone had a chance to send it to repeater? Did you not get it, or?
It says it's still waiting.
Yeah.
This one, because this is like once you so that see this. So this is one of the requests that this is for Facebook specific. So that's not for review. same similar idea. Yeah. Yeah. And then the code is just sort of like what response you can send it. So then after that, like you can start modifying, for example. So we can so it's rearranging somewhere, right? So if you put like equal dot or zero. So if you see like 4 on the top, you will try to modify and see like what, like just put your name or something and see like changes anything or that way you can see how the average is. Yeah, and then you, yeah, and then you are seeing like what the source is. That way you can see on render, but because the JavaScript is turned off here, like if the website requires it, you won't see the complete thing. But you can load it here. I'll cover that also. Like you can send it specifically for thing that's so covered.
Oh, wait, the Zoom thing's gonna end soon.
Okay.
Can you just quit and then go to Slack? Just go to that one.
With what do you want me to do?
So just quit out of this one.
So you stop or?
Yeah, stop. And then stop recording.
Is it-
On the bottom.
Oh.